Welcome to you once again in the Department of English, and you are watching a video on uses of punctuation mark part 3. In part 1, we have studied the uses of full stop. In the second part of the video, we have studied the other marks, punctuation marks, and in this video especially my focus is on the uses of semicolon, colon, exclamatory mark, question mark and hyphen. So first of all, as we have already studied the importance of these punctuation marks and how they play a vital role in the written communication. So the first one which we are going to study, that is uses of semicolon. Now here is the symbol of semicolon. The first use of semicolon is to describe or when a number of commas have been already used or already introduced in a sentence, we have to take the help of this semicolon. For example, she was cool, cautious and steady and determined to success, whatever the cost, semicolon. So here I used semicolon. Whatever the cost, semicolon, she would achieve her aim or goal. Here in this sentence, you see number of commas are already used in this sentence. And to take a pause, to give a meaning to the sentence, here we take a short breath or we stop here for a short while. So such a time generally the semicolon is given. So this is the first important use of semicolon. Now I come to the second, that is the second use of semicolon. Semicolon is used to join two or more than two clauses, especially main clauses, because clauses are of two types. Main clause, it is also known as principal clause, and subordinate clause. Here I am talking about the main clause or the principal clause. Means sentence is made of number of clauses even also. Some part of sentence for its meaning depend on the first part or the other part is known as the subsidiary type of clause or secondary type of clause. Okay, while the main clause on which the meaning is depend of the second clause is known as main clause or principal clause. So when two main clauses are joined without connectors, so what is connector? Connector means the word which join or connects the two clauses or phrases. For example, and, so, or, but. With these help of words, we can join the clauses. So such words are called connectors. And when the two main clauses, they are connected without connecting word, or we say connector, here we have to take the help of semicolon. For example, I go to movie, semicolon, my heroine, my sister is the heroine of the movie. So here we used semicolon. Okay, so I go to movie, independent clause, main clause or principal clause, and my sister is the heroine of the movie. It is also another main clause because my sister is heroine of the movie. This clause does not depend on first clause for its meaning. So both are main clauses. No subordinate clause is used here. Okay. So here you see no connector is used. There is no and, or, but, so, like this. So we have to put here the semicolon. So this is also the important use of semicolon. The third use of semicolon is to separate two antithesis clauses. So here I have given. So to separate two antithetical clauses. What is this antithetical? Antithetical means opposite to each other. So here the example is given. To err is human, to forgive is divine. To forgive is divine. So to err means to make mistakes. To err is human. So generally human being makes mistake. While semicolon is given, to forgive is divine. Divine means God. In short, we can say man makes mistakes and God forgives those mistakes. Okay, so these are the two opposite ideas are put together, or it is known as the antithetical clauses are used here. So to human being makes mistake and God forgives. Make and forgive, these are antithetical, we can say, ideas, and on such occasion we have to use semicolon. Now I come to next punctuation mark, that is colon. So I have given you here certain examples here, the uses of colon. There are 4 uses which I would like to focus it. The first one is that colon is used before explanation. So what is this explanation? The example is given here. For example, moral of the story. Suppose you read a story and if I say moral of the story is slow but steady wins the race. Suppose you are reading the story of the hare and the tortoise and how the tortoise wins the race. So slow but steady wins the race is the moral of that story. So on such condition we have to use this colon, and colon, this is the symbol of colon, that is 2 dots are given. So this is the first use of colon. Now the second use of the colon is to introduce a list. Whenever sometime we while talking or while reading, while speaking or while writing, we have to add the number of items one after another. On such occasions we use colon. For example, the example is given on the blackboard. When we opened the door of the old castle, that is where the rich people or the kings and queens were used to live, okay, or some rich people, or we can say having some social status, these people were living in the palaces, okay, or castle. Palace, castle is short in compared with the palace. So when we open the door of the old castle, we found an amazing collection of, that is surprising, amazing collection of items includes what items the speaker is going to describe. Here, before that list, colon is used. And what items he has got there? That is swords, shields, guns, axes, and maps or faded photographs. We can add number of things. So before making the list, we must have to put colon, and after colon we have to give the list of such items. So this is also one of the important use of colon. The third use of colon, that it is used to newspaper headlines. For example, Trump, the American president, gives China ultimatum, colon, change or be ready for ban. So this is the, we can say, newspaper headline. So here, after ultimatum, there is colon is used, and then what Mr. Trump is going to say is described. That is, this is the half part, and what he said, it is the half part. So in the newspaper headlines, colon is generally used. The fourth use of colon is to introduce well-known quotations or well-known sayings without using inverted commas. Whenever there is no inverted commas is used, we have to put colon. For example, remember, colon, here I have given the example. Remember, colon, well begun is half done. So this is very, we can say, famous quotation, and so we have to put the colon. Now here the uses of colon ends. Now I would like to focus your attention on uses of exclamatory marks. The first use of exclamatory mark, that it is used in the sentences which expresses surprise, joy or grief. What is grief? Grief means sorrow. For example, what a great surprise! Exclamatory mark. So exclamatory mark is shown with this type of symbol. So what a great surprise! Exclamatory mark. That's really marvelous! Exclamatory mark. How sad! Exclamatory mark. So here in these three sentences, the speaker's emotions are reflected. They are either surprise or joy or sorrow, or we can say grief. Exclamatory marks can be used after interjections. At the beginners, when you are the beginners of English, you have studied the different parts of speech in English, like noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, prepositions, interjections. So you are quite familiar with the word interjections. And generally, after interjections, exclamatory mark is used. For example, alas! Exclamatory mark. He is no more. No more means he is died. Or wow! That's a beautiful garden. So after wow, there is exclamatory mark. Or look! There is danger ahead. So after look, this is exclamatory mark should be given there. Or hurrah, India won the match against Pakistan. So hurrah is the interjection, so we must have to use the exclamatory mark after hurrah. Then the next use of exclamatory mark is that when the sentence, in the sentence where verb is not used. Now you know the importance of verb, that we usually say there is no sentence without verb. So verb is the main part of sentences. Still we have some examples where verb is not used but it becomes a complete sentence. For example, what nonsense! Here no verb is used. So after nonsense we have to put exclamatory mark. Or what a nice evening! Here again no main verb is used. Or what a pleasant surprise! Hi! What a different what a brilliant idea this is. So at the end of these sentences we must have to use exclamation mark. The next punctuation mark is hyphen, and this is very interesting to study the use of hyphen, because sometimes if you never give the proper hyphen, the meaning becomes changed. So hyphen are generally used with the compound modifiers. They are not used with compounding, but they can be used as compound modifiers, where two words, two adjectives especially, before the noun is used. In simple we can say adjective plus noun. In such construction we have to use hyphen. For example, if I say I recommended you don't take down any load bearing walls when renovating. If I never put hyphen in load and bearing, the meaning would be changed. And here the listener, or we can say reader, may be confused whether the wall takes load or the person takes load or the human being takes load. So it may be confusing. So to avoid this confusion, we have to use the hyphen between load and bearing. So load hyphen is dash, nothing else, dash. It indicates that load is on wall and not human being. So compound modifiers, if you get the idea what is compound modifier, then you can use the hyphen in a proper way. So what is this compound modifier? First of all, it is made of two words, and these two words, they work together to function like one adjective, and the use of hyphen makes them as a one meaning of two words. When we say load bearing, do not take the meaning of load and meaning of bearing independently, are different. But when we put hyphen between these two adjectives, load and bearing, it becomes load bearing and it has a separate meaning. I would like to give you the examples of such words. For example, recount. So recount the ballots. Hyphen count. Recount ballots means once the ballot was counted, so there was recounting of the ballots. Again, means again the ballot, when the ballots are again counted, it is known as recounting, but there is space. And when we say recount the story, when we never put hyphen, the meaning becomes changed. And what is the meaning of here? Recount the story means narrate the story or tell the story. Okay, so such is the difference when we use hyphen between the two words. Or we can, if we say relay the titles, relay the tiles of your house. The meaning of hyphen lay means you have to change the tiles of your house. But when we say relay my message, we never put hyphen, the meaning become changed and it become transmit the message. Or when we say remark the papers, mark is already given, remark. And when we say remark on her condition, here remark means comment. Remark, again giving mark. And when we say remark, pronunciation is changed, so the meaning is also changed. So such is the importance of using hyphen. Then this hyphen, it is used after the prefixes like all dash, exx dash, and self dash, and great dash joined to noun or adjective. So let me introduce first what is suffix and what is prefix. So when the for example here I have written the word rearrangement. So the main word is arrange. We added re to it first before this is known as root word arrange. I also added ment to the root word. So the middle part is known as root word or the basic word. And when we add certain letters before the root, it is known as prefix. And when we add it later on, it is known as suffix. So as we have studied that after the prefix comes first, don't forget. After the prefix, all, comma, ex dash, and self, when they are joined to noun or adjective, the hyphen should be given. For example, self hyphen employed, it becomes self-employed. Or ex dash or hyphen boyfriend, so it becomes ex-boyfriend. Hyphen is also used after prefix anti. For example, anti hyphen incumbency, which the word you heard at the time of election. Now, when the two numbers to indicate a span, hyphen is used. For example, April 1-6 means from 1 to 6, or page number 352 hyphen 62. So this is the space we can see. Or 15th hyphen 16th century means 15th century to 16th century. After suffixes, when erect and free, for example, mayor-elect or fat-free, these are the examples. The hyphen is also used after the prefix vice. For example, vice hyphen principal, and we call it vice principal. But there is the exception of it, that is vice president. No hyphen is given there. So these are the uses of hyphen. Now I come to the last punctuation mark, that is question mark. When question mark is generally used on the 4 occasions. First of all, sorry, a WH question. What is WH question? The question begins with either W word or H word or WH word. For example, what is your name? Question mark. May I come in, sir? Question mark. May I come in, sir? It is a yes/no type of question, and the teacher may say yes or may say no. Okay. So here in these 2 examples, what is your name? This is WH question, and may I come in, sir? It is yes/no type of question. So question mark is used on both of these occasions. Question mark is also used with tag question. For example, she is a teacher, comma, isn't she? Question mark. So these are the main uses of question mark. I hope you like this video. Thank you to spare time with me.